What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I am Andrew, and this is Coast to Coast Outdoor Adventures. In this video, we are going to talk about the 10 essential items you will need before you head out into the backcountry. So, let's get into this. This list apparently was created by a group called the Seattle Mountaineers back in like the 1930s or sometime around then. It consisted of 10 items that they felt you should need before you left to go into the wilderness in order to be prepared. And today, those 10 items have kind of more or less been changed into 10 categories, or you might hear people say 10 systems. So that list is this: food, water, fire, shelter, additional clothing, a repair kit, first aid, navigation, sun protection, and a light. That's it. That's the list. So for food, I usually pack like granola bars or oatmeal for breakfast. For lunch, I usually carry something that I can quickly grab that's like in my hip belt pocket or something like that. Like trail mix, a granola bar, an energy bar, an energy wafer, a Snickers bar, you know, if it's not melted in the heat of the sun, stuff like that. And for dinners, I tend to stick with freeze-dried meals like this one right here. This is from House Pro Pak. This is readily available at my local sporting goods store. So this is what I just go pick up. But you can get all kinds of different freeze-dried foods from all sorts of different companies. So I'll leave a few links in the description below on some different types of freeze-dried meals you can get. Or if you're like my buddy Ron, he dehydrates all of his meals at home before he goes out for a backpacking trip. So he gets all kinds of creative and makes all kinds of interesting dinners and freeze dries them, or not freeze dries them, he dehydrates them. And then when he's out in the wilderness making dinner, he just adds water to a Ziploc freezer bag, and rehydrates them the same way that I would rehydrate this meal. He does. So that's to each their own. So now I will say that you always want to have more food for your trip than you think you will need. So for me, I usually carry an extra pack of tuna in case I get in a situation where I don't have enough for a lunch or a dinner. And I'll usually carry a couple of more granola or energy bars and maybe an extra pack of oatmeal. That way, I just know I have enough food in case something were to happen and we ended up having to stay an extra night or something like that. So it's a good idea to always carry a little bit more food than you think you're going to need. So the next item is water. For water, before you head out on a trip, you want to do some research on the trails that you're actually going to go on. See if there's going to be water sources that are reliable, that you can just filter water on the trail. If you're hiking in somewhere like a desert or somewhere where there might not be any water at all, you'll need to plan ahead and carry enough water in your backpack to provide the water that you'll need for your trip in those situations. Um, if there are water sources that you can use, you'll need a water filter. Um, I carry this water filter. I've had it for years. It's the first first need XL water purifier. There's a link in the description below, but I've had this thing for like 20 plus years. It's kind of on the big side. It comes in a bag that if it gets wet, you can keep the water primarily in your backpack. But that's it right there. You just put this end in a creek, and then the bottom has a small Nalgene port or a large Nalgene port, or if you don't have a Nalgene, like you have a smart water bottle, where you can just filter it right out of that hole. But you just pump up and down, and the thing I love about this is it filters on the pump up and down, so it's super fast. Filters water just crazy fast. Another popular filter that a lot of people use is the Sawyer. Um, Sawyer is a great company. They do a lot. They do a lot for third world countries, places that don't have clean drinking water. They do a lot of good ministry type work with that. So Sawyer is an excellent brand, and I would highly recommend picking one of their filters up and helping their cause out with that. So another thing that you can do, if your filter were to somehow fail on you, is you can carry some iodine tablets. These things you'll drop in a bottle of water, shake it up, and wait. And the water will eventually get clean. It's not going to get rid of all of the dirt and stuff in it, so I would recommend pouring it through, a cloth or something. But in an emergency situation, or if your water filter gives out on you, those iodine tablets are a great thing to have in your backpack, and they don't weigh anything, and it does not hurt to have them. So the next item on the list is fire. So most places here in California where I am, they'll only allow fires in certain areas, or depending on the time of year or the altitude that you're hiking in or camping in. Sometimes they will ban fires altogether. So you always, at least here in California, you want to check the fire restrictions before heading out and starting a fire when you get to camp. But if you are allowed to have a fire, what I like to carry with me is a magnesium stick, some dryer lint, and a knife. You can even soak the dryer lint in petroleum jelly. This will allow it to ignite easier, burn longer, and stronger, so it's easier for you to get a fire going. I have a video where I teach you how to start a fire in the backcountry. I'll leave a link right here for you to go check that one out. But in addition to my fire starter, my magnesium stick, knife, and dryer lint, I always will carry a backup means to start a fire. So that could be one of those, like fire starter logs. They're about that big, that you just light with a big lighter or something. So I'll carry one of those. I'll carry a big lighter. or even I will carry a small Ziploc bag with tinders in it, so I can have some dry wood that's easy to catch fire with in case I'm camping in wet conditions where I might not be able to find dry wood to get a fire going. So I'll even take that with me. So the next category is shelter. And for me, that's going to be my tent. For others, it could be a lightweight tarp. If you're just out for a day hike, it could mean an emergency shelter or an emergency blanket in case something goes wrong and you end up having to stay the night and you just need something to have as an emergency. Those emergency shelters are lightweight. They are hardly any size to them at all, and it's always a good idea just to have that if you're out for a day hike, just in case, because you never know what could happen. So, for additional clothing, in additional clothing for me, you always want to have clothes, a change of clothes, in case the clothes that you're in get wet, um, in case the temperatures drop and you need an extra layer to get to help you get warm. Um, for me, I carry the shirt that I'm hiking in, the pants I'm hiking in. I'll carry 2, possibly 3 pairs of socks, 1 change of underwear. I carry a lightweight hoodie. A lot of people call them sun hoodies. And then I will carry a top and bottom base layer, and then a micro down puffy jacket. Um, and then also, if it's really cold, I'll bring a beanie and then a lightweight pair of gloves. I never bring a second shirt or a second pair of pants to hike in. If my pants were to get wet while I was hiking, I would just dry them out at camp while I am sleeping in my base layers. So yeah, I never bring a change of outer clothes like a shirt or pants. Um, so yeah, that's clothing. For the next item on the list of 10 essential items is a repair kit and first aid. So a repair kit is like a knife or a multi-tool. I always have a sleeping mat repair kit. So if my sleeping mattress gets a hole in it, I can maybe find that hole and patch it. So I'm not sleeping on the hard ground. So, you know, something else you might want to carry is paracord in case, a strap on your backpack breaks and you can tie it together, or your shoelaces break and you lose your shoelaces for whatever reason and you need something to tie your hiking boots with. So paracord is always a good idea. For your first aid kit, it's just that, it's a first aid kit. I like to recommend starting with this first aid kit from Adventure Medical. You can find them just about anywhere, Dick's Sporting Goods, Walmart, anywhere. And then I take that kit and I adapt it to my own needs. Like I'll add moleskins or tenacious tape or something like that to it, and just make that first aid kit my own. But that first aid kit from Adventure Medical is a good starting first aid kit for you to get started with. And next up is navigation. For navigation, most people nowadays use their phones for navigating. I use AllTrails app most of the time to prepare and plan for my trips. And then I download that map for offline use, so I have the map on my phone and can navigate the trail with no cell signal at all. But if I'm going out for a really long trip where I'm using several different trails to maybe create a loop trail out of, I might bring a map and a compass just to be safe. Um, you could drop your phone off a cliff while you're taking a picture, and there goes your phone. You can't navigate with it. So, or maybe your phone just stops working for some reason. It's always a good idea to have a map and a compass. That way you can, in emergency situations, find out where you're at and figure out a way to get back to civilization. So, always a good idea. And then the last item on this list, created by the Seattle Mountaineers in the 1930s, is a light. So it could be a flashlight, but for me, it's a headlamp. And if you don't have either, you could use the light on your cell phone. But you always want to have some backup source of light. I have a headlamp, and I usually carry a very small flashlight as well. I never use it, but I carry a small flashlight. And always remember to bring a set of extra batteries for your headlamp. And that's it, guys. That is this video. If you liked this video, please do me a favor and hit that like button. And please consider subscribing to my channel. I have 85 subscribers last I looked, and I really want to get to 100 and then keep going from there. So do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. It would really help me out a lot. And thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you on the next one.